The Denver Broncos have requested to interview Vance Joseph? What's up, guys? Welcome to Denver Broncos Syndicate, part of the Sports Syndicate family of channels where we are dedicated to bringing you content about our favorite sports teams. I am your host, Gage Madrid. So we've got a rare late night upload here on Denver Broncos Syndicate, but we were dropped with a bit of a bombshell here at 9:30 at night, so I figured I better get on this. Broncos insider Mike Kliss reports that the Denver Broncos have requested to interview Arizona Cardinals defensive coordinator and former Broncos head coach Vance Joseph for their defensive coordinator vacancy. VJ is still under contract with the Cardinals, but new Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon is a defensive-minded head coach, and it is expected that he is going to go in a different direction at defensive coordinator. This all comes out as earlier this evening it was reported that Rex Ryan was the frontrunner for the Broncos defensive coordinator job, but it appears that they're still looking to meet with other candidates, and one of those candidates just so happens to be a very polarizing figure here in Broncos country. Now, in case you were living under a rock at that time, Vance Joseph was the Broncos head coach from 2017 to 2018, and he certainly led the team to one of the darker periods in their history. Over those 2 years, he led the team to an 11-21 record, or a 34.3% win percentage, and he had no playoff appearances during that time, obviously. Now, since Vance Joseph left the Broncos, a lot of former Broncos players have come out in defense of him, saying that he had no chance to really succeed as the Broncos head coach, as there was way too much interference from the front office led by John Elway and Joe Ellis. Many ex-Broncos players, including Derek Wolfe, said that VJ was in essentially an impossible situation for anyone to succeed. Granted, it was pretty obvious to anyone who was watching that Vance Joseph was in way over his head as the Broncos head coach, but it doesn't help when you have outside factors such as a meddling front office making an already difficult job even more difficult. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to come across as a Vance Joseph apologist here. He definitely had his issues when he was the Broncos head coach, especially on the X's and O's side, but he is somebody who players highly respect, and that was apparent last season when the Cardinals were featured on Hard Knocks. Vance Joseph was featured heavily in those Hard Knocks shows, and he was portrayed in a really positive light. It was clear that a lot of players, not just players on the defensive side of the ball either, had a lot of respect for Vance Joseph, and he still commanded the same level of respect as a head coach even though he was just the defensive coordinator. Now, all that said, that does not mean that I want Vance Joseph back in Denver as the defensive coordinator. First of all, it would be a little bit awkward considering a lot of the same media members who wrote really scathing articles about Vance Joseph during his tenure here would be covering him again. On top of that, over the past 4 seasons with Vance Joseph as their defensive coordinator, Arizona's defenses have underachieved quite a bit. Last season was the worst that we've seen it in quite a while. Arizona had the second worst defense in the NFL in terms of points per game. Although they were devoid of some talent at multiple key positions, they still had plenty of talent on that team, including J.J. Watt, who is playing like the prime J.J. Watt from several years ago in the last year of his career. And then with guys such as Budda Baker and Byron Murphy in the secondary, there's no excuse for the Cardinals defense underachieving the way that they did. Now, don't get me wrong, Vance Joseph seems like a really solid dude, and he does seem like a well-respected leader in the locker room, but I have many qualms with him in terms of actual defensive coaching and X's and O's. I have some serious issues with the scheme that he runs, and I just don't feel like Vance Joseph is a good fit here in Denver for multiple reasons. Alright, Broncos country, this one was a little unexpected, but how do you guys feel about the team requesting to interview Vance Joseph? Drop those comments down below, I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And while you're at it, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Gage Madrid NFL for continuing Broncos coverage. And for now, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.